My situation was when my son was in high school and college and getting started and finding a career and getting scholarships and going to the right schools and then getting internships and the things that go along with that process. And he would often find himself comparing his situation to another person's situation. And they're in a better spot than me. They got a better scholarship at a better school than me, or they would get a different kind of internship. And all through that process, I try to help him remember that those things don't necessarily matter. So the verse that I used in that comes from Philippians chapter 2, and it begins with verse 5 and goes to 8. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Jesus Christ, who though he was in the form of God did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, but he emptied himself, being born in the likeness of men, and being found in human form, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even death on a cross. So the way that I applied this was to remind him of a time that he was an infant and he was sitting in his car seat, and those moments when you can finally turn a child around to face forward, and suddenly the world was all new and he could see. And we were driving down the interstate at 70 miles an hour, and a truck passed us on the left-hand side, and not understanding how visual effects worked, he felt like we were going backwards. And the reality was we were going 70 miles an hour, but the visual illusion made it feel like we were in reverse. And I sort of chuckled and kept all that in mind. But often we do that, and I've tried to help him over years understand that if God has you going down the road 70 miles an hour and somebody else is doing 75 miles an hour, that doesn't mean that your life is in a mess. It's just different. It's a different pace. It's a different purpose. It's a different place. We all have to be reminded at times to kind of put the blinders on and not try to compare other people and their salaries and their places, because their life is totally different and we don't know all the details. The reality is we just need to focus on what God's called us to do, the gifts that God has given to us, and follow the path that he has given in our lives.